This video is going to be a little different than most of my videos. Today I'm going to be looking at a circular knitting machine, also sometimes called a sock knitting machine. And basically what I did was I bought the least expensive one I could find on eBay, and it's not in working condition. And I basically bought it so I could look at one in detail and perhaps fix it up. I don't know too much. I've watched a few videos. I think I understand the basics, the very basics of how these machines work. I got it in the mail and I'm just going to start taking it apart. I took it out of the box and it doesn't crank around like it should. So clearly there's some things wrong, and I'm just going to work through those issues with you guys so you can sort of see how these circular knitting machines work and sort of the kinds of things that I'm looking into. I mean, the long-term reason I'm looking into this right now is I'm trying to decide whether I want to make one of these and sell it at my store like I sell electric spinning wheels. And I think that there's opportunities to sort of revolutionize this market like I have the e-spinner market, but I'm not sure whether it's worth tackling until I really understand the machine. And anyways, this video or possibly series, depending on how much work it ends up being to fix this and to understand it, is going to commence now. Okay, so here's what arrived in the mail, just how it arrived. And the only thing that I've really done now is I've tried to, well, I see it clamps down onto the table here, but I think I can just hold it. And if I try to turn it, it just gets jammed. And I see that it's getting jammed on this, which is loose. I think what's supposed to happen is the cylinder, this thing is supposed to rotate. And then there's supposed to be hooks. There's no hooks right now. Oh, there's a spring over in the box. I think that goes, let me go grab that. Okay, this is the only other part that was in the box. So this looks like it, I've seen these before. This will go here. Some terminology that I know right now. I may have to go and look up some more stuff. But this top piece is called a ribber, and this is the cylinder. And this is supposed to spin, I believe. I think this thing, which has some numbers on it, I think this is a tensioner. It's got a spring down there. This seems jammed, though. Yeah, it's pretty rough right now. So I think what I'm going to do is start taking things apart. Does this ribber, I think the ribbers normally just come off. Does this one come off? No, it does. Oh, wait, maybe. Yes, it does come off. Okay, so the ribber you don't actually need all the time, so I'm probably not going to look at that for a while, because I know you can knit with just this portion of the machine without that other portion. So this is the part I'm going to focus on to start with. And then I'll look at the ribber later, but there should be a bunch of needles in here. Maybe I'll try ordering, I will try ordering some needles. That's something I need to do anyways if I'm gonna, in the long term, look at making my own machine. The needles is not something I would make. I would just pre-order those. But I could get this in if I took off that screw, but I don't think I need that on right now. Let's see. So I think I want to get this cylinder off. Let me show you a little bit more. So it should turn, but it just, I mean, it just turns and it rams into this thing. If this whole portion spun, I think that piece should spin. I don't see how else this could work. Unless it goes up. I guess maybe it goes up. Spins. Oh boy. Okay. Okay, just looking at it, I think these screws down here are some interesting ones that look, oh, they're really loose. Maybe someone took this apart already. But I want to get it so that it'll crank first off. One thing I did see online on my one video that I watched. Okay, so hey, we got it in pieces now. Okay, so this piece could use some cleaning, but like there's nothing at all complicated with this piece. So this piece I don't think I'm going to have much to do with to get it working. I'll tighten that handle screw, I guess. Do some cleaning, but overall this looks like a very simple cast iron piece. It's just a crank, and as it cranks, it turns this gear. So somehow this needs to spin. Let's see. So if we take this piece off, so this cylinder should come out of here. I believe it should come out some which way, I think. Let me look into that. It does. So I do know from online that these cylinders sometimes break, ridges off the top, and there are no breaks on this one, which is good. I do see some cracks, and I'm actually kind of amazed that this steel would crack. I wonder if that was more of a problem with how the cylinder was manufactured. I don't see anything that actually looks weak. This thing weighs probably 5 pounds. I mean, it's a lot of steel right here. But what I'm going to try to do now is get this inner cylinder. I think that will come out of this piece, and I'm wondering if that not... Yeah, so I'm going to try to get this cylinder off, right, and that's going to be my next step. Okay, at this point, I'm a little stuck. I've looked at the machine, taken some of it apart. As you can see, it's an Ainslie knitting machine, number 3508. I think that's just like an actual, like each unit would have its own number, I think is what that is. My understanding of how this should work is that I should crank this, and this cylinder should stay in the same place, and this base is going to stay in the same rotation because it's clamped to the table. But then this whole mechanism here should spin around, and then that's what's going to cause the needles to lift. The problem is that this piece right here and the cylinder are like locked together, and not really sure how to take those apart. I mean, even this piece, which should go down there pretty easily, I managed to get it out, but it's like really jams in against the cylinder, and I'm not exactly sure why. Everything is so tight. It's almost like the cylinder is too big, but I don't think that's it. At least I hope not. Anyways, I'm hoping somebody with more experience with these machines can sort of tell me. So like, I think I'm not seeing sort of something here. The cylinder should rotate in, I don't know what this is called, maybe a carriage or something. I think the cylinder should be like free from the carriage, but I cannot. I pulled them apart. I even tapped them with a rubber mallet and stuff, and nothing's really freed them. They really seem to be joined pretty tightly. I'm not sure if there's like some twisting that needs to occur here to release them, or if there's something wrong with this. I'm hoping somebody with more experience knitting machines would be able to maybe give me a hint on, confirm that this cylinder is supposed to come free from what I'm calling a carriage here, and maybe how it's done, because these are like really jammed together, and I guess I'll see if anybody online knows what I'm supposed to do with this, because it's not apparent to me. I mean, I can see that like this bolts to here, so this piece cannot rotate once these screws are in place. This inner cylinder will not be able to rotate. So the only way I can see the machine working is if this outer carriage part rotates. But like I said, it's really locked in there. And it looks like unless there's some twisting mechanism, it looks like it would push out, and maybe I just need to, you know, like brace up the sides. Like I think if I, you know, put like some supports here and maybe put a piece of wood here and then hammer on this really hard, like that's the best way I can think of to force that out, other than something like a wheel pulley, which I don't have, a wheel puller, but I don't have one of those. Anyways, anybody with more experience on these types of machines have any thoughts on how to sort of separate this carriage? I've already put a bunch of degreaser on it, and I'm just going to let it sit for a while, and maybe that will help, but it really, it feels like that's not going to be enough here, but I'll let it sit overnight and sort of see what happens, and I'll try some other things, but I may end up posting this video in the meantime to see if I can get any feedback. Thanks for watching.